Hello, and welcome back to FRLT Season number 4. We return for fours here on a lovely Sunday evening, and it is a special day if you are from the UK, because it is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Hope you're having an absolutely great day. Sorry about the delayed start. We had to do a quick lobby restart today. Because the game has decided to absolutely kill us, or kick us in the balls, either way. But we do return, finally, we do return. I do apologise for the absolutely horrifically slow start to today, but today is an interesting track because we come to Qatar, the Lusail circuit, 5.380 kilometres, 3.343 miles, 16 turns, 1 DRS down the pit straight. The only track, actually, I believe, one of, I think, 3 tracks on the calendar that only have one DRS zone. Also, here's a look at the calendar. We've now completed Imola and Abu Dhabi. Now we're going to be going to Qatar today, and then we'll be going to Great Britain next week, followed by Austria, Qatar, China, Netherlands, and then Bahrain. We're just doing quickly. I do apologise. We're quickly just doing. I'm just quickly double checking all the settings for this. Everything's right. Everything's right so far. Let's just hope it stays that way. Yep. Yep. Wait. Yep. And just double check here. Double check, done. Okay, so we are now ready to go. So the next thing is also the standings. Sadly, if you haven't seen, TTRE sadly shut down and left the championship sadly after self-shutting down. So they are third in the standings at the moment, 40 points, but that is no longer. They are gone and they have been replaced by XPG. As you see, VRT slow start. They're not racing here tonight. They haven't submitted the lineup, so they're going to be staying at 5 points for now. We're also seeing the same for XR8 and XR8 turn here tonight. They finally do get into the awful drivers here. UFRT is second in the championship. They're here as well, same as ABE. UFRT last race, closing that gap down to 1 point. TTRE as well ahead of the final there. XR8 is a big race this week. We are actually now into the race itself. If you'd like to start, yep, there we go. My apologies, it's just taking a minute. So, with that all done, as you can see, we're into it now. We're going to be getting into it in the next 2-3 minutes. Just give it a second. We'll be straight into it. Interesting evening, Qatar, a track that we have loved in fours very much. I think we've done it every season for fours now, which I must say is pretty interesting. As you see, everything's ready. As you can see, only one DRS zone, like mentioned before. I do think this season's gonna be an interesting one. I think, the season's already an interesting one. The top sort of two separated by 1 point, almost like tier one, with the top two in the championship on exactly equal points. But as you can see here for round number 3 of fours, which means this race, once this race and this week ends, it will mean officially we are 1/3 into the season for fours. As you see already, I think we've already got 3 cars coming out onto the track. And there goes three different cars coming out. I think we do have an Alpine. It's one of the Alpines. It's Oscar who's coming out onto the track. He's out onto the track now. He's out onto the track, and that's followed by Flores for ABE, and also Hazer for UFRT. So 3 different teams actually already all out onto the track, already for this qualifying. It's going to be close. We've got 15 drivers here tonight. Of course, we are missing VRT, so we should actually have 19. Flame will be joining hopefully some point during qualifying. He's having to do an internet restart. He's having to restart his lovely Wi-Fi. But as he said, I think we'll probably see him. It's almost done. 75% done is what he said a few minutes ago. So we'll probably see him towards the end of qualifying. But as you can see, more drivers pouring out onto the track. We've got both Aston Martins now coming out. And into that, both 2XPG drivers out onto the track now. But let's watch Oscar. Well, it'd be nice if I could press F6. Oscar starting off his lap here in Qatar. First driver to start a lap. Coming down this pit straight, you can see just using that left-hand side. No point in moving over to the right. He's going to use the curb on entry through into turn 1. He invalidates already. Taking too much out of turn 1. And now we're going to have to look to Flores, who's on a lap now. He hasn't invalidated out of turn 1, but he's going to be able to head through turn 2 as well. So getting a little bit further. But looking good so far. AB leading the Constructors' Championship by 1 point. They need a better performance than UFRT. They need to make sure to outscore them to keep the lead of the Constructors. Now down into the hairpin. Oh, a bit wide there. Quite wide from Flores, not being able to hook up the car the way he wants to. Now into this right-hander. Sometimes can be difficult. If you get it right, you get it quite right. And he does. He is able to hold the car there. Now up through here, now into the left hand, you've got to throw the car in as heavy as you can. And quite smooth there through the second hairpin. Now for this next bit, it is all flat out until, I'm pretty sure it's until the final corner that it is all flat out. As you can see, completely flat out through here. And to the next corner, flat out again. It's completely flat out until this final corner. And through the final corner goes Flores up to the line. Where is he going to go? He's going to do a 1 minute 21.145 as a first lap. Not a bad first lap from himself. Hazer is following for UFRT. Where is he going to go? He's going to go a lot slower, 22.545. So he's quite a bit further off. That's a frustrating one, I think, slightly for himself. It's definitely going to be a bit of a frustrating one. I think we've got Josh Rose up to the line next. He goes fastest of all. 1 minute 20.790. XR8 proving that they want to get back up into this championship fight. Pishi now goes P2 with the 20.834. So getting close. Bianchi! Whoa! Bianchi with a lap for ABE. The battle for pole might be on. Brand just went P4. 4 drivers out of the 6 in the 1 minute 20s. It's pretty close so far, I must say. And now you can see the Aston Martins. Are they pulling off? Or is Mono just going slow. No, he's not. He is pushing on his lap. Where's he going to go? He's going to go P6, slotting in between the RB and the Mercedes. I think we're looking to an Alpine next. That's Oscar, who's invalidated again. We've got Zeno, who's on a lap. We've got Raxi, who's coming around. He's pushing hard in that Alpine XR8, wanting all the points they can get here tonight. They really need all the points they can get here tonight. Up to the line. Rexy goes fastest now. Rexy goes fastest of all. 1 minute 20.5. We've brought it down quite a bit by 6/10 already. In about the space of 2 minutes, we've already brought it down to about... We've already brought it down by about 6/10 of a second. So the lap times are getting quite a bit quicker now. And I think that's interesting to see. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the stream. Ryan Old. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, Raxi. Very, very strong lap there. Not far ahead of anyone else, just over a 10th, so not a huge amount of time. But it is still a bit further ahead. Who else is there to look at? I think there's Zeno, who's invalidated. Only other driver on the lap at the moment is Rusted Bolt, who's also invalidated his lap. Disappointment there. Hazer is up by half a second already, so he's obviously was on a very slow run. Mono's coming in. Yeah, I think I've seen you race in Qatar before. I think I've seen you race. You're not good. You struggle. But XPG pulling the big guns out. They're pulling out Bourbon Boy out of their lovely roster as he goes off track and validates. But Bourbon Boy is very fast and he is going to cause problems. So I very much think we might have actually maybe a three-way fight. But, you know, I think we've definitely got 3-4 teams up there who I think pretty much all 4 teams at the moment have a chance to win. And of course, we've got 3 XR8 drivers at the moment in the top 5 with 1 ABE and 1 UFRT. But I think it'll be interesting because I think we'll probably see at least 3 teams in the battle for the win. Possibly 4. Would be very interesting to see. Indeed. I think Bourbon Boy's going to come in. No, he's not. He's going for another lap. I think we've got Rusted Bolt, who's also on a fast lap. Let's see what he's going to do with 30.3. So that's about 3/10 slower than Bourbon Boy in the first sector. So we could already say, I'm pretty sure the sort of 1 minute 20s is not in for the chance. I think the cutoff for the 1 minute 20s was about at 30.2. So at the moment, he'd need to find a bit more time. Rusted Bolt, of course, he's done quite a lot of races in FRLT from Tier 1 to 4s. He's done quite a lot so far in his 3 seasons history here. Not a terrible middle sector, nothing too quick though. So at the moment, Rusted Bolt not incredibly quick. I don't think he's pushing massively. Hello, Paul. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Wow. Already starting off, but a 21.777. As I said, I didn't think he was going to do much better. Who is going around next? It is Manolo. He's going a bit faster than we saw from Rusted Bolt. He's only going a bit faster, not a huge amount. So I think he's about 2/10 quicker. So he's not particularly finding himself much faster. XPG needing a big evening. Of course, they've had 2 races less than everyone else. But we'll have to see as he crosses the line. It's a 21.688, so clearly not that much faster than Rusted Bolt. UFRT also not getting away with much either here tonight, I must admit. And across the line, and Oscar did not set a fast lap. He's slowest of them all by a mile. Who else? I think we've got Bianchi coming up to the line next. Then we've got a Red Bull. I think that is That's not Rusted Bolt. That's Pishi coming up next. Then it's Rusted Bolt. Then we have Zeno, who is on a fast lap. He's not coming up next. It's his teammate Flores who's coming around, who's up by a 10th in the middle sector. That's not going to improve his position, but it is going to push him into the 1 minute 20s, making him the 6th contender for a top 5. He's going to become a 6th driver inside of this sort of 1 minute 20 sort of area. Still a bit off of pole, but he doesn't get to 1 minute 20, but he's very, very close. 8 thousandths more and he would have gotten it. So a bit unlucky there, but still pretty quick. And there's somebody who's come out quite aggressively out onto the track. Zeno's coming up to the line next, opening the rear wing, and up to the line. He does a 20.7 P3 in this fight. Less than 2/10 off of provisional pole for the moment. That's definitely a decent chance. We've got Oscar who's coming up to the line next. He's up by 4.5 seconds. Let's see where he's going to go. He's going to go P4 behind Zeno. Ooh. Looking a bit closer now. 3 teams in the top 4. Looking a bit more interesting than it was a few moments ago. Looking quite a bit more interesting, I must say, than it did. As now Bianchi goes fastest of all. 1 minute 20.422 on his middle run. That's what you like to see. That is what you love to see from a driver. We've got Pishi coming up to the line next, improving on his lap as well. He doesn't improve at the end, but he wasn't far off. So you can see drivers clearly. There is time to find. Brandon validated his laps. That's disappointment there. Josh Rose is on a fast lap. I think there's the Haas of Bourbon Boy who's coming round. He's not coming round too quickly. I think we've already seen Flores. He's slowly rolling his way round. I think we've got Hazer. Hazer's going round slowly as well. So no super speed at the moment coming from anyone. I think we have got a Williams of Josh Rose coming up to the line next. He's out of ERS. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to improve by 200ths to hold on to P5. His small attempt to hold on to P5, might I add. Raxi's invalidated his lap as well, so he's not going to get that middle run. He's not going to get any benefit from his middle run. That's not what you want to see. And Mr. Poem is coming in to the pits. So quite a few drivers not getting away with it at the moment. Bianchi also on his way back to the pits. I think we've got Oscar, who's also heading in as well. We've got 2 more drivers heading into the pits. It's pretty nice. Interesting to see it's getting a bit quieter now. I think we've got a Red Bull who's on an out lap. Yes, we've got a fast Red Bull. Got his slightly slower teammate, Pishi, who's going to pull into the pits. So you can see Russ Bolt starting his lap now. Mono is on a lap, but he's invalidated it, so it's disappointment. I think he would have invalidated for the next lap as well. And yes, he has. He's invalidated his next lap anyway, so a bit of disappointment. Manolo. We got Mono and Manolo. Now both on laps. I think Hazer's coming around. He's coming around slowly. Josh Rose is also coming around slowly. So nobody on massively fast laps. I think the only driver is Russell Bolt, who's had a bit of a spin at the end of Sector 1. And that is going to be a disappointing continuation of form for him. Another bit of a disappointing race to look ahead to. P11 at the moment, only ahead of 2 drivers who have set a lap time. Ahead of also another 2. One's having a qualifying ban, so he's going to be, at the moment, officially, he's ahead of 3. Bourbon Boy yet to set a lap, so we don't know whether he'll be ahead or not. We'll have to see. I think Manolo's invalidated, so is Mono. So all 3 are going to be coming into the pits as well for their final runs as well. This is going to be an interesting last bit to qualifying here tonight, because the battle for pole is definitely on. I think the battle for the top 5 is very much on, because to reach top 5 you have to be in a high 20.7. You have to be at 20.770. So that's what you have to beat. Flores and Bran and Pishi are all in that. So the top 8 all with a chance. And it's pretty close up to 3rd. So if you improve for Bran here, so if you look at Flores, if he improves by 0.3, he could go P3. If he finds half a second, he could go P2. But the first driver out for their final runs is Raxi, the man who is on the front row. He didn't get his middle run right, and he invalidated it. He's now going to be heading into this final run with, I think, some anticipation, some difficulty. One of his teammates, Bran, has come out on the lap as well. So that's 2 XR8 drivers, the first 2 out on track. Quite a big space between the 2. The only problem Raxi might have here is he might hit traffic. Because at the moment, he's going around the track quite quickly, I must say. It's not like a normal sort of outlap speed. He's actually getting around very quickly. I must say, he is going quite quickly on his outlap, I must say. He isn't waiting around for anything. But he's going to be having some traffic because the 3 more cars have come out onto track, or onto the track. So I don't think there'll be a problem. But there are 2 more that I think will be a problem for him as he reaches towards the end of his lap. But here comes Raxi. Entering the final corner, let's ride on board with the Alpine. Let's see how Raxi can do on his final run. Will it be pole? Will it be an improvement? Epidemic retires because of the qualifying ban. And into turn 1. Looking good. A little bit unstable. Maybe the rear trying to get past Raxi a little bit. But looking much better through turn 2. Much more stable from the Alpine. Heading round with a lot of speed. He's been able to find himself quite well, actually. He's gotten quite lucky here where he's found himself without any traffic really around him. And it is down by 17 thousandths in the first sector. So at the moment, he's not finding time. He's going slower than his previous time. So this final run at the moment, not going the way that Raxi would want. Well, what I am happy about is how drivers are actually giving each other space so they don't pick up slipstream, which I think is a plus. And he's invalidated. Raxi's invalidated. Has he got enough fuel for another run? I don't think he does. I think that is it for Raxi. And that's a huge disappointment. Bran's the next driver. He's up by almost 3/10 in the first sector. So Bran will ride on board with Bran just to see how he does. Just so he can end off the lap here. I think polar opposites. Raxi's car looked stable at some points, but in the higher speed corners where braking was essential, the car looked very unbalanced. But you see here, Bran's car looks a lot more stable through the fast corners, and so I think that could be the sort of setup difference we see. As now we arrive to the final corner. How is Bran going to do? He gets it all the way on the line. This will be his last run and his last opportunity. As he crosses line, he finds quarter of a second. He goes P3, closing it up, but it's not enough for now. It's not where he wants to be. I think we've got Pishi up to the line next, and then we've got Mono, who's coming up next. I think we've got Oscar. Oscar's invalidated in the end. He's just going to cross in time. Bianchi's coming up to the line next. He is improving as he goes faster. A 1 minute 20.252 is now the time to beat. An Alpine's gone straight off. That's Oscar, who's gone straight off the track. That's a Mercedes that's come into the pits. I think we're going to be looking to Flores, who's invalidated anyway. So another car finishes his session. Josh Rose is improving very slightly, so it could be an improvement in position. It is an improvement, and that's P. Suidas, the front row, for the moment, for himself. As Mono is off, his teammate Manolo, where's Manolo going to go? You can see Raxi's into the pits, he's not improving. Manolo goes P9, that's a solid lap time. Zeno doesn't improve and stays in P5. We got Pishi, no, it's not Pishi, it's Rusted Bolt, who improved on his lap. Next is Bourbon Boy. Bourbon Boy's invalidated again on his lap. Another invalidation. Holy. It was a 20.8 in the end, which would have sent him to P7 as it stands. Pishi's improving very slightly. He improves by over a tenth and goes P6 in the end. I'm pretty sure that's it. Qualifying because Mono is invalidated, and that's it. But what an end to qualifying. It is AB on pole. Bianchi on pole. AB pushing. Ooh, it's going to be an interesting one. You can see Josh Rose, XR8, P2, P3, P4, and P7 on track. It's looking incredibly close, though. Bianchi on pole by an absolute mile, let's be fair. They're absolutely on pole by a mile ahead of everyone. Almost 3/10 ahead. Quarter of a second ahead of anyone out on track, which is, you got to give it to Bianchi. That was one hell of a pole position to take. If he can hold that into the race, I could see him very much winning with ease. But let's have a look. Bianchi is on pole for AB, followed by Josh Rose, Raxi, Bran, Zeno, Pishi, Oscar, Flores, Manolo, and the other XPG and Aston Martin car of Mono. Rusted Bolt is 11th, followed by Mr. Poem, Hazer, Bourbon Boy, and Epidemic in last place. Ooh, it's going to be an interesting one. This race is really going to be interesting. The gaps are there between first and second, but I do think the battle over the top 5 is going to be probably the biggest place of battling. I definitely think it's going to be the biggest place of battling. Let's just put it out there to the teams and drivers quickly. So teams and drivers have 2 minutes to ready up. Still have till 8:39 UK time. Of course, the clocks changed today, so it's meant it's changed for everyone. But yeah, this race is gonna be an interesting one. I think. Of course, AB taking that pole, they want to extend their constructors championship. UFRT not having the race that they've been looking for. The qualifying, they very much needed to ace qualifying, at least get 2 cars, at least get, I think, sort of probably 2 cars into the top 10. They've only gotten 1 car into the top 10. I think that was P6 with Pishi. So only 1 car in the top 6, and only 1 car in the top 10 altogether. 3 cars outside of it. It's looking like a rough race for them. XPG have come into this with a very strong lineup already. Bourbon Boy not having a great qualifying, but we know he's incredibly fast. We also know that Bianchi's come into this for AB as well. AB looking pretty good. When it comes down to pace-wise, Flores, as well, showing some decent pace in that car. I think altogether they're looking, everybody's looking really good. But I will say, based off of qualifying, XRA are definitely looking like they are the best team. P2, P3, P4, and P7. That's going to be a very tall order to beat. And especially if one XR8 car gets in front, then for Bianchi, it might very much be race over, no chance of winning or even a podium, because you'll just see all 3 work together. I can hear the beeping going on as we're about to get started. Flame not able to join, which means XPG down to 3 drivers for the race. And here we go. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Qatar for round number 3 of 4s in Season 4. And it's a good getaway from Raxi. He's gotten the start he needed. Bianchi all the way down to P6 already. It's been a terrible start. Zeno's had a good start, though, for AB. He's forced his way back up into the order. P3. Pishi now battling with Bran, trying to get past. He's trying to make up a position. He's gotten past Bran. And now you can see Bran having a bit of battling further back. I have no clue what is going on. Bran and Pishi battling further behind. You can see this fight happening. Pishi has had to drop out, but now you can see Oscar still holding on to P7 as Bianchi dropped down to P6 there. Not a good start from the man on pole. Manolo, going up to P8. Whoa, that's a car off into the wall. That is Mr. Poem who's in the wall. Epidemic far behind as well. He's not had a great start. I think he's just let everybody go off into distance. But Raxi, what a start. Mallow gets 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. That's exactly what he didn't need here tonight. And that's the worst way to, I'd say, start your evening. Especially from lap 1. But it is 1-2 at the moment for XR8. The points they needed to take the championship lead is all here. They're pushing back for the championship. They want to take it. They want to take their first title. They're pushing for a championship in Tier 1 as well. They want to get both. But I think realistically when you look at it, at the moment, the competition is a bit easier here in Force. Everybody knows that. It's not as difficult. It's still very hard, but it's not as difficult as Tier 1. Of course, less teams to battle with. Mallow trying to go on Flores down the inside. Can he get the ABE driver? Has he gotten him? Yes, he has. Mallow up to P8 now in this race and 3 points now secured for XPG. But he's got that penalty, which means he is going to drop down anyway. He's going to drop down quite far behind. You can see Bourbon Boy towards the back of this pack. But this is slowing down the pack because the top 7 have now split away completely. You can see Oscar just waiting. And he's already going through it. Oh! Oscar knocked off of the track by Bianchi. Incredibly aggressive driving from Bianchi. Holy. I've never seen that. Not once. Holy. That was very aggressive. I'm not sure whether that was just reactions from Bianchi and just being a little bit severe with the reaction time. Or just a collision. We'll have to see, of course. I think we're definitely going to be seeing a report for that. But that means we're dropped down to 6 drivers in the battle. That means XR8's chances of points have now dropped 1 down. Yeah, I get your frustration, Ryan. I do get your frustration there. That's very disappointing. Josh Rose now takes the lead of the race. And look at this. Zeno trying to go down the inside, and he has done it. Has he gotten the move for P2? Has he gotten past Raxi? I can't see because the massive grandstands are in the way. No, it is ultimately Zeno who has to hold on to P3 for now. But look at this. He's going down the inside. He's having to go down the inside and defend. Look at this. It looks like it could be an XR8. 1, 2, 3. But it's not going to happen just yet. Look at this. Bran battling over position. Has he gotten Zeno? No, he hasn't because they're still battling into the next corner. Who's going to come out on top here? We're going to have to see in the next few moments. And that is Bran up to P3. XR8 1, 2, 3 now in this race. Huge points that they're taking away from it. Massive points. They can't maximize their points. They've already lost a point for at the moment fastest lap and for pole. So the maximum points are gone. The absolute maximum points. But, and also with 1 driver outside of the top 10. But for top 3, they're looking pretty good. Locking out the podium positions. As you can see, AB and UFRT both scramble to try and get back up into this battle. And look at this. Pishi's now going for position. He's on those medium tyres. Bianchi sets the fastest lap of the race. The point goes back to ABE. And look at this. Look at Pishi. Down the inside he goes. He's going to try and get Josh Rose. And down the inside. And that's a move made. And that's a position made up. And back onto the podium. XR8's day might not be as easy. Raxi leads away though in the Alpine. XR8 leading all laps so far here tonight. It's an interesting. I will say it's an interesting one to see who leads each race. TTRE sort of in a battle, very much mixed, but mostly they led last race. Mr. Poem sadly retires. UFRT's first retirement of the race. But I will say it is interesting that sort of there has kind of been clearly one team each and every race that has dominated in leading the race, or has led a majority of it. So far, nobody has really even gotten into a battle with the XR8 over the lead. So it's going to be 4 whole laps in the lead now in a row for XR8. Will they lead this entire race from start to finish? Who knows? But if I was to be honest, I don't think so. But there might be a move further back because Josh Rose is trying to get his position back. But look at that. That is Bran and Josh Rose working cleverly together. But Pishi's not letting go of the position. He's going to try and dive down the inside. But it is clever work. And like I said this right before the race. If any team, ABE, UFRT, want a chance to win, they've got to make sure that these, this trio of XR8 drivers don't get into the lead. They have to make sure that they don't go 1, 2, 3, because then it'll be almost impossible for them to win, and to get in front. And that's just been shown. The clear teamwork coming from XR8 is, it just shows that is a side of it. But they've still got 3 other drivers being dragged along. They've still got Pishi. They've still got Zeno. But as you can see, Josh Rose being a bit slow on this lap so far. Is he trying to build the gap slightly? Because I feel like the gap is starting to build. Bianchi gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so he's still going to finish P6 by the end of the race. Flores is over 3 seconds behind. But here comes Pishi. Unable to close. Still not even able to close before turn 1. Not sure what to say about that. Clearly incredible straight line speed from Josh Rose. Definitely going for that straight line speed over cornering. Ooh, Pishi has a bit of a moment. That's allowed Zeno back into this battle. Back into the fight for P4. But Josh Rose is now catching back up, so it should be alright. Five laps now in the lead for XR8, adding up their tally for this season. I think it's going to be interesting, though, I think, for the rest of the season. Because so far, we've only seen ABE lead the Constructors for 2 races. Could we be seeing a second Constructors Championship leader? We've seen, of course, now in round 3, we saw EVR take the lead of the Constructors in Tier 1 this season. A new team debuting in their first full season, taking the lead of the Constructors is, of course, massive, taking it from the reigning champions, 2-time champions, AMS. But, it's incredibly interesting. Now, Brand goes for the lead, and that is a swap between teammates. But you see what I mean? It will be interesting to see whether this race we're also going to see the same thing. Bourbon Boy, by the way, makes his way up to P7 in this race as he now tries to chase down the top 6. Another 5 points walking the way of XPG here tonight. They might only be on for, at the moment, they'd 5 points plus another 2. They're only on for 7. Would jump them up from 6th in the Constructors to 5th already off of the first race for them. But even then, they'd only have 6 more races, and so still would only be 42 more points, 49 points by the end of their championship run. 49 points by the end of their championship run, that would equate to. But we'll have to see, because Bourbon Boy is slightly catching the top 6 now. He's leading this group, 2 of them being his teammates, 1 being Flores. So we'll have to see. I'd say there's very much 3 groups now in this race. There's the top 6. Then there's this group of 4 drivers here. Bourbon Boy, Mallow, Flores, and Mono. And then we've got kind of this group sort of sitting on their own further back outside of the top 10, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. All can see each other, all within a decent distance to strike. Bran, by the way, getting overtaken. There's quite a few changes out in front. Look at this. Zeno now going for the move past Pishi. Back up into P4 where we was earlier. Flores as well, making the move for P8. Ahead of Bourbon Boy. Mallow as well, taking P7. Incredibly strong. Raxi takes the lead once again. You can see, it's just XR8 locking out this front row. Which is, I think, the most difficult part. Is they're just locking out the podium places. They're locking out the top 3. and they're just working together. And this is the worst part, is that I think what we've seen in previous races, in the past 2 races this season, that teams have been a bit more spread out. Like there's been one driver on their own, then another, then another. They're all from different teams, and so teamwork has been so far very difficult, I think. I think teamwork, we haven't seen a lot of it, and I think teamwork, like I said, has been incredibly difficult for a lot of teams. But I will say that this is, I think, the first time this season we're generally seeing a team working together to defend. And it is nice to see that, we are getting some of this teamwork going on. We have got some of these team strategies, some of the team strategies are going on and are happening, within teams. As now Flores, by the way, takes P7, jumping ahead of Malo. That's some more points for them. Oscar retires. Disappointments for XR8. They take another retirement. They didn't start last race. They're taking another retirement this season to back up last race's disappointments. Very disappointed there. No safety car, though. We're down to 13 drivers now in this race. I think, as we can see here, I think, you can clearly see that Flores, I think, is getting more confident on the hard tyres. I think he's getting a bit quicker and a bit more confident on the hard tyres. You can see he's setting, he's roughly equal with his personal best at the moment. So he's actually setting pretty decent lap times right now. He's actually not doing too bad. He's there at least. Josh Rose has now set the fastest lap of the race. Hazer gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And a lot of changes out the front. Zeno down the inside of Bran. He's made up the move into P3, and this is what I'd say the only thing XR8 has to be scared of is drivers like Zeno and Pisci and Bianchi jumping up places now. Bianchi, by the way, trying to make up some places. He's trying to get up to P5. He's been sitting P6 since the race start. Nothing's got him through, but he's pressuring Pisci a lot now. Is he going to send it down the inside? Are we going to see a Thomas Ronard style move? No, he's going to keep it safe. He's going to try and take the points he can. Because, of course, at the moment, he'll still finish P6 and he'll still score those important 7 points for ABE. They will at least keep them ahead of UFRT for now. These are still important points, realistically. They're still going to take over 20 points from this race. They'll take 25 points from this race alone, which is one of their best finishes so far this season, to be fair. It's about half their campaign so far, so it will be a massive improvement, just getting that sort of each race. I don't think AB have a chance to score as many as XR8 will. Pisci now goes into the pit lane. I don't think AB have a chance of taking as many points as XR8, but I do think they can cause some chaos at least out front and cause some problems, because we're suddenly starting to see Zeno is now the man who's chasing and the man who's really giving these guys some problems. As you can see, Pisci and Russell Bolt both come into the pits. Double stop for the UFRT duo. Only 3 of them remaining. They're all in the bottom 3, by the way. P11, P12, and P13. So UFRT not getting away perfectly here tonight. Only one driver set to score points at the moment. So after these drivers pit, only one driver at the moment would score points out of them, which is very disappointing, I'd say, for UFRT, from a good race last race round to quite a big struggle here in Qatar. And, we saw it in qualifying. We're seeing it here in the race as well. I would say at the moment, though, you've got to give it to Zeno, who at the moment, out of everybody, is probably the most capable of beating the XR8 duo, or really the XR8 trio. It is very much 1 versus 3. It's been like that sort of between these 4 drivers, and we're seeing now Zeno's strategic timing, has now caught, I think, XR8 out. And now here comes Zeno. He's just going to go past. He's going to try and get past Raxi and down the inside. It's going to change to the outside now for the next corner. He's played it smart, but he's not able to make the move yet. But he's very close to making that move for P2 and gaining another position, as we saw Bianchi just further behind, making up to P4 ahead of Bran, which isn't going to help him because it means Bran has now become, sadly, Bran has almost become, I don't want to be mean to Bran at all, but he's almost a bit of the weak point now for XR8 in this race. He's been a bit of a weak point out of the three. I think we saw that he started to drop off a bit on his tyres. He's now been overtaken by two drivers. That's not what you want to have. By lap 12, leaving, you know, especially when you've got two ABE drivers who have just got in front of you. It's now very much, I'd say still, to some degree, it's still very, you know, it's still 2 versus 3, but it's very much more ABE focusing on 2 versus 2 out front, and Zeno more being the one who's going to be trying to get that win, or at least take some extra points, and ABE continue their Constructors' Championship lead. XR8, of course, not racing last race, dropped them down to 4th in the Constructors on 29 points. He's the only one of mediums, is he? Yeah, he is. Interesting. But yeah, Bran on those mediums, though. Let's actually have a look, because that's interesting. Bran is the only driver on the entire grid who is on the medium tyres. And look at this for the lead, by the way. It's all going a little bit manic. XR8 unable to communicate, it looks like, who's actually going to take the lead, because now Zeno and Bianchi have both caught up a bit, and especially Zeno, because he's all over the back of Josh Rose. Are we going to see a dive bomb, another sort of Thomas Ronhaar style dive bomb into the hairpin? Not yet. Maybe we'll see it in the next corner. Maybe. No, he's going to stay behind. Zeno's playing it safe, allowing Bianchi to catch back up, but Bran is struggling now and not being able to keep up. Those mediums going off. He's fully dropping behind, and that's a really, I think, disappointing. I think it's really disappointing. Sorry for quickly having to pause the game. My PC's did a jump scare on me and just almost my monitor unplugged. I do apologise. My monitor did just unplug. Yeah, I will say, yeah, I do agree with you, Paul, to some degree. He is going to very much struggle if he loses DRS, but as we've just seen, he is going to lose DRS, by the way. He's outside of a second now. Zeno's still unable to take that P2, but at least Bianchi's with him, and now it is over a second gap back to Bran, and that's, I do agree with you to some degree. That is now very much the best zone for Bran, and I think very much the end of his chances for now at the podium. P5 and over a second behind P4. Usually you'd say, on most tracks, you'd say that isn't too bad. But round Qatar with only one DRS zone, and a DRS zone that you can pull up to 4 tenths ahead of somebody, 4 tenths to half a second who hasn't got DRS, is going to be a weak zone. But you can see Bran is pushing. Those medium tyres just not allowing him at the moment to close up 1.2. We're going to see how close he's actually going to be. He's 1.1 now. Yeah, I don't think he is going to catch up because the others in front have slipped. Also, you've got to add in also the others have slipstream during the lap, which means they're just going to, on straights, they're just going to pull that extra bit of time. But yeah, Bran has lost that DRS. It's a massive loss for Bran because he is on more worn tyres. You know, he's on those medium tyres, which aren't as quick, but it's just not where you want to be. He is going to come into the pits, though, but he's dropped that 1.3 seconds, so we'll see whether the undercut is going to work for him or not. Where is he going to come out, actually? Because if we look to Pishi, who was behind him, Pishi, on the hard tyres, by the way, is now coming round to the final corner. Who's going to come out in front there? I think it's going to be very close. I'm actually not sure who's going to come out in front. I think it might just be Pishi. Maybe. I actually am not sure. And it is Pishi. Pishi does come out in front. And actually quite a bit in front. Probably about 2-3 seconds in front. Yeah, about 3 seconds in front ultimately. So We know that Brand's lost about 3 seconds just because of that. So that was a pretty bad one for Brand there. Unlucky. But Josh Rose and Rexy still lead away with this race. They still lead away. Massive gap between the top 4 and 5th place. Almost 10 seconds now in this race, which I do think is crazy that it is that much of a gap. But I think Qatar is one of those tracks where the minute you lose DRS, like we said with Bran, the minute you lose DRS is the minute you very much lose your... I think very much lose your chance to sort of keep up. And we've very much seen that. And now here comes Raxi. But look at this. Zeno as well. Zeno this time. He's not going to give it a second thought. He's going to go for it. Without second thought. Has he made the move? No, he hasn't. Because look at this. It's very, very close. It is now turning into a crazy battle. Bianchi now taking over P3 ahead of his teammate. We know Bianchi has been a bit more... he's been quite calm in this race. Not going for opportunities. He's got that penalty, of course. Oh, and a big slide there. But I feel like Bianchi's been sitting there for a while, saving his tyres for quite a while. I will say I think he has been saving his tyres quite a lot. Possibly saving some ERS. And now he should be able to push for this sort of next 4 or 5 laps. Give Josh Rose a hard time and Raxi and probably get them in the next DRS zone. Pull up to P2 and... I think it's very much now a 2v2 situation. And very much, I do think I'm disappointed for you, FRT, in this race a bit. I think they're one of the teams, out of the sort of three teams out of the top 4. Now TTRE has gone officially, so we can say the top 3 of XR8, AB, and UFRT. That's how Bianchi goes in. Out of the 3, UFRT have definitely been up there in performance, especially with Pishi. We'll see where these guys come out. We'll see where Bianchi comes out now in the order. Because he's already down to P7. Where is he going to come out? I'm not sure where he's going to come out. It is going to be behind Hazer. Will he be behind Pishi, though, is the question. Pishi. Oh my god, look at this. Bianchi, now onto fresh mediums, has jumped Bran. He's just jumped Bran. That's big. By the way, that's massive. Jumping Bran like that is a massive move for AB. It means that they do know that now at least 2 of their drivers are top 4. Or at least top 5. That moves Bran down to P6 in the order. Even though Bianchi does have a penalty, he's on those faster tyres now, and they're a lot faster as well. And that's a slow Aston Martin that's sliding all over the track. Very slidey Aston Martin there. XPG not getting away with it at all. Yeah, I think Bianchi's going to jump them all. As now we can see Zeno is into the pits. I think this is perfect timing for Zeno to come in because he's now going to go to those medium tyres. He's going to stroll out of the pits. Where is he going to come out though? Quite close to the pit exit. Let's see. He's not reached the line yet. He is also, by the way, in front of Bran as well. So we can now confirm that Pishi, Bianchi, and Zeno have all come out in front of Bran. So that's these 3 places. 3 drivers now. So I think that's probably going to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we saw Bianchi, by the way, get past Pishi, making it now over a second gap. Now here goes Zeno down the inside. Pishi can't really do a lot there. He's just got to let him by. There's not really any fighting it, to be honest. There's no fighting it. But now the worst part is Bran's going to get stuck behind. Because Bran gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Which now means he's now fully lost out the position to Bianchi. And that's a massive, massive hit. As now Bianchi moves up to P5, chasing now the top two. We'll see where they come out, because the top two have just gone in, but these guys are quite a bit further behind. We are going to see Bourbon Boy and Flores, by the way, take the lead, which means XPG are leading their first few laps of the season, by the way. Their first few laps immediately stifled by Flores. Heading down the pit straight now. Getting some slipstream, using some teamwork. And they're ahead. Look at that. Look at this. Around the outside. Bianchi's massive opportunity has come down the inside. Bianchi goes and up into the provisional lead. And provisionally P1 and P3. P1 and P3 for them in position. But Bianchi will drop down to P4 by the end of it. Possibly P5, by the way. So it's not looking all dandy and nice. But it is definitely an improvement. There goes. Look at that. Look at how Raxi's trying to go down the inside. More side-by-side action. More battling. XR8 really trying to retake that lead. Trying to build the lead. And holy. That has worked. That's worked for ABE, and now ABE control this race. And that's a switch in power that I don't think XR8 will like. Is that Bianchi can throw everything he's got at it. You can see how Raxi's all over the back already. Josh Rose also in there. Oh, this is going to be a very, very close end to the race, because we've got a lot of drivers. You can see Boldenbohr and Flores into the pits, which means, yes, ABE have led another lap in this race. As Bianchi heads down the pit straight, XR8 are going to take the lead of the race. Here comes Josh Rose down the inside on Bianchi. He's trying to make the move as well. Can Josh Rose get the move? Will he get the move? Not fully. It's not done yet, because you can see Bianchi is holding in there for position. He's not giving up. Around the outside, he's trying to make it work. He's been pushed off a bit. And out, down the inside, the dive bomb. I could feel it coming. I could feel it coming from these two. These two are battling, and Bianchi is giving Josh Rose a very hard time, locking tyres as well. This is an incredible race between the two. Look at this, they're still going. They've gone for about half a lap now. Mono gets a 3-second time penalty. Holy! This is, I think, the biggest battle we've had this race. Trying to hold it around the outside. Look at Bianchi. He's still trying to battle them for about 3/4 of the lap. But Josh Rhodes just about comes out on top. But holy. What a battle going on there. Over P3 in this race, by the way. Just for position. Because Pishi will get P4 in the end, as it stands. Holy, this battle is going on. It's been interesting with back markers added in as well. You know, more back markers. But this is a race that is chaos at the moment. Flores pulls up to P7. Boldenboy up to P8. Lots of changes happening. And, it's definitely an interesting one. I think penalties are going to be the killer for some drivers. Especially for Bianchi and Bran in this situation. It's going to be the killer for them. Oh, the battle is becoming quite real. But Zeno still leads ahead of Raxi, ABE. Totting up some more laps led here in Qatar. At the end of the season, by the way, they will be counted. I will be counting the laps led by each driver. And, well, by each team. Not driver, but by each team, of course. I'll be counting the laps led. And oh! That's Pishi! Pishi's in the wall. And he gets a 3-second time penalty. And that is broken. That's front wing damage. And I think that's UFRT's day done. I think that's them out of the chance for points. I do believe. Jesus. Raxi now takes the lead of the race. Josh Rose takes P2 as well. So, back to XR8 leading this race. 7 more laps to go. But holy. What is this race? What is this race, guys? Please tell me. This race is insane at the moment. It is completely and utterly insane. But XR8 lead again. They've led the majority of this race, let's be honest. We've seen a lap led from Flores as well. I think he's led 2 laps. Yeah, the overcut is good, but we'll have to see because realistically they've only had 1 extra lap, the others, so we'll have to see. Because on the hard tyres, of course, we saw when the tyre wear did start to kick in a bit on the hard tyres. We did see XR8 crumble slightly when the tyre wear did start to kick in, as AB kind of went through it a bit better. I think it's partly set up. I think it's very much a big chunk of it is set up because we've seen, the XR8 cars have definitely been snappier compared to the ABE cars. So that's, I think, possibly one of the reasons. I think definitely setup is going to be one of the reasons why we might see XR8 win. But their cars have been snappier, but it's going to be an interesting one. Now as they continue to lead away, everything is happening, everything's going on. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also click on that notification bell to know about all our streams, videos and shorts that we have here on the channel. Also, a link to our affiliates, SimRacing Centre, and also a link to our Discord server and Twitter account down below as well. Make sure to check those out. But Josh Rose leads for longer. We're going to be going down to the final 5 laps of this race in the next few moments. 5 more laps to go. We have 6 whole laps of racing remaining in this race. It's gone by quite quickly, I must say. It's been quite quick. It's gone by. But we'll have to see as the drivers make their way around into turn 1. Bit more action going on. Josh Rose battling with his teammate Raxi. Neither of them wanting to give up the lead of the race. Both feeling like they both deserve it. Very much true. But Zeno also feeling that same entitlement to the lead. Is it enough? No, it is not for now. It is not the lead. And not what you'd be expecting from this at all. Definitely not what you'd be expecting at all from this. But yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting. I think the battle over the podium now and the win is an interesting battle. They're the only guys without penalties in the top 5. Bianchi and Bran are just battling over P4 now, so they're battling over 1 point, which could be massive for XR8. But probably is not massive for ABE. I don't think it will really be a massive thing for either team. Fast lap and pole, pole went to ABE, so they're going to get that point. I think fastest lap is also held by... it's actually held by XR8, so XR8 already, getting that point for fast lap. The extra point for P4, I don't think is exactly what they're going to be going for. But here comes Zeno now into P2. And that overcut might have been working at first, but it's no longer working so much now because Zeno, who has found himself back up into P2 and back after chasing for the lead. Bourbon Boy now gets back up into P6, back into the battle, back up for 7 points. 5 points as well. Well, now 2 for AB versus XPG, battling over some positions. Very much. But yeah, I think this race is one of those races where you either keep up or you get left behind, and we've seen how that's sort of been, the top 5, 14 seconds ahead of 6th and 7th, and then another 12 seconds back to 8th, 9th, and 10th. Then another 5 seconds back to 11th and 12th, and then 5th, and then about 14 seconds back to Pishi. Zeno gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's a massive change. That now means the podium is up for grabs for Bianchi and Bran. But look at that. Bianchi now drops off. He lets Brand go. I'm not sure why he's letting Brand go. No clue why. Maybe slowing him down a bit. Who knows? But Zeno now takes the lead of the race. That's a strong lead, and that's what AB want. They want to lead these next, and well, these final 4 laps of the race. It is massive, yes, it is massive because it's going to drop him down to P3 and leave him out of the chance of winning this race. I can't show you warnings. I'm not showing you warnings. Bianchi's on 6 seconds? No way. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at penalties while we're here. Penalties. He is indeed. He is on 6 seconds. My bad. I thought he was on 3. Must have missed that. But either way, 6 seconds there. Everybody else on 3 except Hazel on 9, Mono on 6, and Epidemic on 6. No. Paul, no. No. I don't show Race Direct. You guys won't be able to see the next, 2 laps of racing. No. If you want it so bad, tell one of your drivers to get it. Now, into the final corner, they go to begin the final 3 laps here in Qatar. It's mostly been led by XR8 dominance. AB might have taken pole, but it's not been the same in the race. Let's see. Now, into these final 3 laps, and on to lap 27 we go. The battle over the podium is on. The battle over the points is very much on. AB fighting for whatever points they can find. Very much fighting for whatever points they can find at the moment. As it stands, decent amount of points might be coming their way. Either way, they'll still be, I think all 4 of their drivers will be getting points as it stands. If I'm correct, all 4 of their drivers will be scoring points compared to the 3 for XR8. But there is a slight difference. Those 3 drivers are all inside of the top 4, taking up P1, P2, and P4 at the moment. We'll have to see as that goes on. Josh Rose, by the way, splitting away now from Raxi and Zeno, trying to get this victory under his belt. He's trying to get another one. He did it for MAR. He got a podium for them, I believe, in Season 2, I think, if I remember correctly. You got a pole position. I do remember. He did get a pole. But now for XR8, can he get a victory? Can he step it up? 2 laps now remaining. Every single corner going by is another chance gone. And Zeno's not waiting. Another chance. He's trying to get it in turn 1, but he's unable to just yet. Just yet. Can't get it. Pishi gets another 3-second time penalty. This race, miserable for UFRT. They're on for 2 points. They're on for 2 points. But that is it. 2 points is all they'll be getting here tonight. 2 points. Officially their worst race in FRLT so far, but not just 4s, but also Tier 1. But we'll see. Not long left in this race. Less than 1.5 laps left. And the lead is Josh Rose in the Williams. It's been between these sort of 3 drivers of Josh Rose, Ratzi, and Zeno since the pit stops. It hasn't changed the top 3, by the way. Haven't even changed 1 position. They've all stayed inside of that top 3, none of them dropping lower than P3. And it's mostly been Zeno in P3, Josh Rose leading, and Raxi in P2. And on to the final lap now we go. It is going to be XR8 versus XR8. Josh Rose versus Raxi. Who's going to take the win here? We know it is all up for grabs. Zeno pushing. I think AB think they can get their penalty gone. We'll have to see as this final lap goes on, and we'll have to see in the reports whether that will happen or not. Bourbon Boy now takes P6. He's up trying to get those 7 points for XPG here tonight. He's trying to get those extra points in. You can see Josh Rose chasing after Raxi. He wants to get this win. He's led the last 4-5 laps now. He needs this win. He needs to get this victory. He needs to take it. He needs these points. He wants to get them. Raxi now pulling ahead. I think the chance is almost completely gone for Josh Rose now, unless he has a massive push in the final sector. He is using his overtake to catch up. It's not working though. It's not working at all. Epidemic gets another 3-second time penalty. Just a final few corners left to go. Almost entirely XR8 dominance from start to end. They didn't do that in qualifying, but they've done it here in the race. Up to the line. Raxi will win in Qatar for XR8 and FRLT 4's round number 3 in Qatar for season number 4. And that is the top 5 already finished. We've got a long wait before we see P6 and 7 round the final corner. Then we've got an even longer wait for the next two, and that's Bourbon Boy into P6. Now we're waiting for Manilow. We'll see where they actually slot in as they now round the final corner. The next 3 drivers, the top 10, will now finish this race. And across the line they go. And that is the end. Bran can probably get his penalty removed. We'll have to see whether you guys do get a 1-2-3. Because I think ABE feel confident they can get their penalties removed too. If they do that, it might be a bit more trouble for XR8 and all of it. And that is an incredible victory for XR8. Their first of the season. 3 teams have now won in 3 different races now this season. 3 teams, 3 races. Incredible. XR8 take a 1-2 with Raxi first and Josh Rose second, who also take fastest lap. Zeno finishes off the podium, followed by Bran, Bianchi, Bourbon Boy, Flores, Malo, Rusted Bolt, and Epidemic to finish at the top 10. Hazer is 11th, followed by Mono in 12th, and Pishi with an incredibly disappointing P13 last. Oscar finishes 14th with his retirement, and Mr. Poem as well, who also DNFs from the race. Ultimately, that is that. If I was to give you a drive of the day, I'm going to say Bourbon Boy. P14 to P6. Got to give him that. 8 places gained in 8 places gained in one single race across 29 laps. That is incredible. Disappointing he couldn't gain any more. It would have been interesting to see whether he could have gained more. Very much would have been an interesting thing to see. But ultimately, good job to everybody. And ultimately, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, click on that notification bell to know about all the content we're going to be doing across Season 4. And also for F1 25, when we're doing our 5th season. Yes, 5 seasons already. Oh my god, I can't believe it's going to be just a few more months and we'll be doing our 5th season. Ultimately, thank you guys so much. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, check out the link down below for our affiliates, SimRacing Centre. Big thanks to them. Their Discord's link is down below. Also, massive thanks to everybody who's raced and all the moderators and everything. Make sure to join Discord down below. And also follow us on Twitter, which the link also is in the description. So make sure to go do all that. Ultimately, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.